Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BoatRockers here on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel where we talk about a little bit of everything, but we are mainly concerned with preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ and making waves out in the cultural realm of the world. In this episode, we're going to talk about the recent Hollywood scandal involving Harvey Weinstein, which, as it keeps progressing, it seems to be involving more and more people than just Weinstein or Weinstein. You say tomato, I say tomato. Uh, and our special guest for this episode is going to be cultural and political expert Matthew Matuse. Hello, Matthew. You there?
Yes, I'm here, Chris.
Okay, good to have you. Been keeping up with this story. It's been a pretty, big breaking story the last week or two out of Hollywood. And while the leftists keep talking about Trump, they don't seem to be wanting to talk about this until here recently. And but now they're being forced to because it's become that big of a story. And to keep you up to date, Harvey Weinstein, um, they say he's been doing this for years. From what I understand, he's been doing this for about 30 years. He's been sexually harassing women, mainly women from the ages of like 17 to 25, and basically forcing them into sexual encounters to give them, special favors. Now, the thing about this is, you've always heard of the casting couch. Well, this is kind of like, this goes a little bit deeper than that. But that's what I kind of want to ask you about tonight, Matt. Um, okay. So far, the names that's been associated with this scandal have been Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, who said that they knew about this for years but said nothing. And James Vanderbeek has also came in to the spectrum here, but not relating to Weinstein. He just
Wow.
he
Okay.
just yeah he just said that he was harassed by older men there for quite a while. But I don't think that's related to Weinstein. Um, but the other names, the big names, are Ben Affleck and Matt Damon because there's been reports that they have harassed women over the years, and there's actually been an apology this week on Twitter from Affleck apologizing to a certain actress. I can't remember the name of the actress right now, but um, so what do you think, Matt? You think that this, more names are going to become involved? You think that more is going to come out because we all know that this has been going on for a very very long time, and so what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Well, it just depends on how the media, where the media wants to take it, how far they want to go with it, who they want to punish, or who they want to protect.
Right. Well, you know, I don't see how you can talk about this and the names of Corey Feldman, Corey Haim don't come into the fray. Isaiah Wood, Corey Feldman and Isaiah Wood both, you know, going,
Elijah,
yeah,
Elijah
yeah,
Wood.
Elijah Wood. I'm sorry, Elijah
Yeah.
Wood. Going public saying that there's lots of pedophilia that goes on in Hollywood. And it just seems, the stories go out there and then they disappear as soon as they, land on the scene. But nothing's ever made out of them. But this story right here seems to be different. Rose McGowan actually is the actress that I was trying to think of. She has accused Ben Affleck of lying about Harvey Weinstein. In other words, protecting him, I guess. But when you talk about Elijah Wood and you talk about Corey Feldman has already said that Hollywood is inundated with pedophiles. But pedophiles haven't really come into this story yet. What I'm asking you is, will this break open that story?
Boy, it's if they want to go down that rabbit hole, it goes far and deep. I believe. I think they could uncover story after story after story if they really wanted to.
Yeah, and I agree.
Uh,
Now, we all remember, the Pizzagate scandal, which
uh-huh.
was kept underground, in the internet underworld. And anytime it was mentioned in the mainstream media, they kindly attached the conspiracy theorist label to it. But, um, Podesta and those guys, they just seems to become more and more just seems to be coming out about those guys. And so what I'm asking you is this. Okay, this case with Harvey Weinstein is not a pedophilia case, but it's in that same realm of perversion and sexual misconduct and sexual abuse. Okay, and it's in the same geographical realm. It's in Hollywood. So, if you kind of like, okay, if something's going on in the living room and something's going on in, the den, but they're two separate events, they're in the same house, so ultimately everything's going to come out. You see what I'm saying?
I do. I do. Well, we know this is happening, right? We know child trafficking is a huge issue.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have the exact numbers or statistics in front of me, but I think we can easily say it's at least easily at 1 million a year children disappearing and trafficked, and people need to ask themselves where are these children ending up? And I would say they're generally not ending up in working class neighborhoods, middle class neighborhoods,
Right.
poor neighborhoods. I think we can all safely say these children that are being trafficked as sex slaves are ending up in huge compounds, trafficked in political, entertainment, business, high end world.
Right.
Gated compounds, private islands, things of that nature. Things that most Americans, most we the people don't have access to.
Right.
We don't have anywhere to hide children. That and it's not even on our minds. But
Right. Well,
so
the thing about this case is that
back to the point is that we know this is happening. We know it's on a large scale. And so, where are these children?
yes, and well, the thing about this story is, okay, we know that it's been going on for a long time, and we know that many other names could become involved. So, already with a very fractured infrastructure in Hollywood, that is already actually Hollywood just had its, as of this recording in October of 2017, Hollywood just had its worst summer in 15 years, and at the box office. So, movies aren't doing that well right now. And, if some of these big movie moguls start coming out, in sex scandals in the Trump era, in the Trump administration, who Trump, I've actually heard a story tonight where they might start, investigating these guys and really start going after them. And so, I guess what I want to ask you is this the beginning of the end for Hollywood? Or is this, a turning of the corner?
Well, we know China is trying to make inroads into the entertainment industry. So, as far as buying studios, making movies, doing things of this sort, what better way to take over an industry than to totally cleanse it from the previous employees,
Yeah.
if you will, of that industry,
Yeah.
and to fracture it, to destabilize it. So you destabilize Hollywood. People still want to be entertained. They want content. So China and anybody else is ready to fill the void here. I don't think content or entertainment's going away. It seems like people are addicted to it to an extent. So it's going to come from other sources. What will happen to Hollywood? I hope it goes under. They've been a producer of smut, violence. I can go all down the list. They've really become a cesspool of content.
Yes.
And of behavior. I mean, you can only look at this and you see that everybody's coming out and they all know about it. So they're telling on themselves. They're saying this is all happening. This is the world we live in. It's almost reminds me of the Roman Polanski rape of the 13-year-old whom he drugged, and Hollywood starlets coming out defending him with the defense of, well, we're just different. This is how we do it. It's a different world in Hollywood, and I think it is. I think you have pedophilia hiding in plain sight.
Well, yes,
And
and I would like to add to that right there. You know, I think it was last week or two. I believe it was last week. You know, you talk about pedophilia being hid in plain sight. I actually saw a story, and I saw this on Facebook. It was actually, you know, on a post, and it was a post that said, "Did you know in 1976 that Playboy magazine published fully nude pictures of a then 10-year-old Brooke Shields?" And this was,
that is startling.
yeah,
That is startling to hear.
it's unbelievable. I mean, and it wasn't the only time that Playboy did that either. They did it with
Yep.
another. They did it with another quote unquote model. Basically, you know, a woman that was basically prostituting her child out. But you know that they published fully nude pictures of a 10-year-old Brooke Shields, and I don't think, I mean, that was the first time I ever heard about that. I mean, so obviously this was done in plain sight, like you said. But I mean, where are the charges? Where's the outcry from the public? Where, I mean, I
What
get
year was this? I guess
this was 76, 1976. Brooke Shields was 10 year old at that time.
that is just hard to believe. That is just hard to believe. You would think, you know, I mean, I know she did the jeans ad, and that was risque, where she had on Calvin Klein jeans. But I was not unaware. I was unaware of that until very recently, where I actually heard it on one of your talks that about that, and I was shocked that, wow, 1976, and they were doing this, and nobody raised the alarm.
Yeah, it's very disturbing why they didn't.
I
I
mean,
mean,
we're talking subscribers. This is not a secret. This is something that was sent through the mail
yeah,
to people. It was on public newsstands. And nobody at that time raised the voice.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how you can do that. I mean, I don't know why there wouldn't be women or men and women outside of Playboy headquarters throwing rocks through the windows and picketing and holding up signs. I mean, um, I don't know, but
Well, I think we're looking at a perfect example of letting things slide, and I guess where we are, we still things of that nature still happen. We're caught up in this war with evil. It seems where uh, it just keeps pressing on and moving on. And I'm sure there had to be people at the time that said this is not right. Correct. I mean,
well,
I haven't researched it, but I would imagine in 1976 there had to be an outcry against this.
well,
That
you would think, but this was a time when the only people that's getting Playboy is perverts to begin with, and so they're not going to say anything. And what women would have known about this, and what women that did know about it probably didn't feel as empowered as what they would today. And so, but long story short, pedophilia has been in the limelight before, and it's been normalized. And so, is it in Hollywood right now? Of course it is. But to what extent will it be exposed? I mean, right now Harvey Weinstein is under the microscope, but there's a much bigger picture being ignored as well, and that is that of pedophilia. Corey Feldman came out in the famous interview a few years back saying that there was a household name that sexually molested and abused Corey Haim. He said it's not my place to say who that name is, and a lot of people have speculation as to who it is, and they have their own theories, but who knows? But I guess the question right now begs is how deep will this Weinstein rabbit hole go? I mean, Angelina Jolie and Gwyneth Paltrow, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and those are some of the biggest. I mean, those are the biggest names you can get at the moment, and they're coming forward, and or they're being exposed. Jolie and Paltrow have came forward and said they knew about it, but Okay, why didn't they say anything about it?
Well, I mean, they obviously place their careers above any sort of principle. Um, yeah, that's all you can say. I mean, I see Jane Fonda saying that she knew about it and is now ashamed that she didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and so that's how you can do these things. You can have pedophilia because people they place other things above a supposed slight. I just don't understand how it can be rape if she
Okay.
kicked around for more. Uh,
So I mean, so Jane Fonda has been quoted as saying she knew about it, but she was ashamed, or she was ashamed that she didn't come forward.
She said, well, I'm reading off the CNN Money. Jane Fonda, she says, she quote, ashamed, but it says, I knew about Weinstein and I'm, quote, ashamed, end quote, I didn't say anything. And you can say that about all these people, Jolie, Paltrow, on and on. Uh, where were you when it happened? Where was your empowerment? I mean, isn't that the message of feminism to be
Well,
empowered,
yeah,
to stand
that's
up and say
that's
I've been wronged? I mean, I think feminism is an incredibly destructive element in our society. But if you are a feminist, where were they? Where was their empowerment? If they
well,
chose,
that's a pretty easy question to answer. The women empowerment was down at the Planned Parenthood, holding up signs saying "My body, my choice." They were at pro-abortion rallies. That's where they were. Um, but yeah, I see the point that you're making. In this day and age, when feminists claim to be so empowered, well, it didn't seem that they were. As far as Jane Fonda is concerned, she didn't seem that empowered. She knew that there were people higher than her, and she was obviously afraid to speak out. So obviously, her women empowerment didn't take her that far. And so, you know,
well, I mean, all these people that are coming out had the means to walk away from this. You don't have to stay in Hollywood.
right? Yeah.
But that they're not very principled people. They place their careers above all.
Well, a lot.
I mean, I would. Go ahead.
Well, a lot of them are virtue signalers. Like your Leonardo DiCaprio's. Who flaunts his massive, expensive yacht around. There's no telling how much energy it takes to run that thing. But he has the audacity to tell us, we need to kind of, turn off the lights a little bit more at night. And a lot of them, they like to do their good causes to make themselves feel better. But okay, Jane Fonda is one of those people. Okay, here you had the audacity to go to Vietnam and protest the war, like something wrong was going on, and then you actually spoke out against, and you were actually a traitor toward our American soldiers in Vietnam. But yet, when you came back to America, I mean, here recently, you didn't have the guts to speak out against this, but you knew about it. I think a lot of people would take major offense to that.
Well, these people obviously just jump on any old bandwagons that's passing through town. Uh, one person speaks up and here open the floodgates. I mean, it was. A
Bill,
popular leftist stance in that time was, let's bang on the soldiers. Let's beat up on the soldiers. Um, and this is, somebody came for. I don't even know the origin of this whole thing. To be honest with you, this whole Weinstein. I don't know what kicked it off.
well, I don't either. I mean, obviously, well, maybe he's made somebody mad, or they're wanting to get rid of him, and he had to go. But it seems like Rose McGowan came forward. She claims Harvey Weinstein raped me. That was her words, quote unquote. And she told Amazon Studios. And so I think that's where it got started. But something had to trigger her to come out to say something. Um, somebody is looking to
Well,
capital.
I don't know the timelines. If it happened and she was and she just came forward and said this happened. Well, my hats off to her. But I really do have to question all these other women who apparently this happened, in the past.
Yeah. Well, Bill Cosby comes to mind. I mean, one or two women come out against Cosby, then the next thing you know, the floodgates are coming open, and women from 40 years back claims that Cosby did things to them, and so okay, well, if we live in the day and the age of women empowerment, where women are just as equal as men and women have just as much power as men, then why didn't these women come forward sooner? I mean, why is it that somebody needs somebody else to step up first?
I mean, people need to get back to principles, right and wrong.
Yes.
Doing the right thing is not always the easy thing, and in fact, it's usually the hardest thing to do. What is right, and I understand. This is not the easiest thing to do for a woman if she's been, raped. To actually, I have no idea what it's like, but I would imagine it's very difficult. But it's the right thing to do. So you can't say you're empowered and then cower. They don't go together. You're either empowered and you make a stand and do what's right, or you're just a coward. Or you prefer your career over doing what's right. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a whole culture, top to bottom, for years. Hollywood is made up of a group of people who have compromised themselves and their principles. That's
Yes.
fact. That's what the casting couch is all about. Are you willing to go all the way for this job? That's what the casting couch is, and that's what Hollywood is. It's like, I want something to give you something, and it's an industry based on compromise.
Yes, not only a compromise of money, but a compromise of character and a compromise of morals and many other things. And yeah, it's been going on for a very, very long time. Will this change Hollywood at all? Do you think?
Well, it would change it some way. I don't, once again, I don't really know the forces at work here. It just
Well, let's
seems
let
odd that all of a sudden we're gonna get this guy.
let's ask this. Will this change the careers of some people in Hollywood? Will this change the career of Matt Damon? Will this change the career of Ben Affleck? Because both of those guys are kindly, they're under the microscope right now. And Ben Affleck has been accused of groping more than one woman. One of his makeup artists and I think some other actress or whatever. But he's actually also apologized for. I think on Twitter this week he apologized for I think groping a woman. But
I just find that appalling. I mean, these guys have got to be like sex maniacs.
well, they
I mean,
constantly have it at their
you're
disposal.
Matt Damon. I mean, you're Matt Damon. You're Ben Affleck, and you need to grope somebody. All you gotta do is walk out the door, and they're crawling all over you.
Well, I think what it is, and this goes back to Weinstein. Um, it's power. Okay. For
I
example,
think.
you okay. Construct the situation. And you're in the dressing room, and this makeup artist, this very beautiful, attractive makeup artist, is fixing your hair, doing her work, and it's just you and her, and you're the big time actor, and she is a nobody. She's just an employee of Hollywood that is anybody. There's lots of people that can do her job, but and you're the big time actor, and she, her name and her word doesn't carry as much power as yours. So you're sitting there, you've just done a line of coke, and you see this beautiful, attractive woman. Who's going to stop you? And if you do, grope her or whatever, then what's she going to do? She going to go tell somebody? Well, so what? I mean, you're protected, And so I think that's what it is a lot of times. I think it's just, it's there, so why not? I can do this, so why not? And with Weinstein, they said that he really got off of seeing the fear in women's eyes. They said that's what he got off on. That was his big turn on. Was he loved to see the fear in women's eyes. And so with him, it was a power thing. And if you look at Harvey Weinstein, he kind of reminds me of the little kid when he was younger who couldn't get no girlfriends and kind of had a chip on his shoulder because of that. And now that he's got power, he's gonna, he's got a score to settle, and so he kindly takes it out on women now. And now that he has money and is a multimillionaire, he can afford to do these things and um, sexually abuse women and have it undercover, or make deals with women or whatever. But yeah, I think a lot of time it's power. These people, they're inebriated on power, and so it's there. I can do it, and so who are they to tell me no? And if they do try to do anything, who's going to listen to them?
Well, I mean, if you want to talk power, I mean, really, the American consumer is in the driver's seat.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
um, the only way, the best way to change things is one through prayer, always number one. And don't give them your money. Cancel your cable. Cancel cable right off
Yes,
the bat. Cancel cable. Say, even if you want, write a letter. I'm not going to any movies. I'm not buying DVDs. I'm not supporting this industry anymore. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes. They need money. They're a business. They're an industry. And if people would strangle them of funds, things would change.
absolutely. And I think Hollywood has already started to suffer in that regard. I mean, like I said, they just had the worst summer that they've had in 15 years at the box office. I mean, they're not making very good movies anymore. I mean, there's too many superhero sequels, and I think the public has gotten really wore out on that. I think the public's getting worn out on Star Wars. I think the public's getting worn out on remakes. And so Hollywood is just a regurgitated monster right now. It's kind of like a dog going back to its own vomit. And so I think the public is starting to tune out. Plus, there's other avenues. I think right now Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, some of these big time shows on cable television are much, much bigger than anything at the box office. So, the people are seeing, they can tune into Netflix, they can tune into other avenues now. I mean, this isn't the 1970s. If you want to see some good, high quality entertainment, you can do it now in a place other than a movie theater.
Well, that's really still Hollywood, right? We're
Wait,
talking still. You're still talking. You're still big budget production. That's what Hollywood is. It's movies, sitcoms, Game of Thrones, HBO, Showtime. That's all under Hollywood. I think we have to look at things such as Hollywood as just like you're familiar with antibiotics, right?
yes,
If you get an infection, you go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you a course of antibiotics. And the important thing about antibiotics is to finish the course.
okay,
You have to take what the doctor tells you to give to kill the thing, to kill the infection completely. Because if you leave a little bit, it'll come back. And that's where people get in trouble with antibiotics is they don't finish the course of medication the doctor has given them. I think in Hollywood is the same thing. They may be hurting right now, but what is hurting in Hollywood? What really is hurting in Hollywood? I don't think it's not like we can't pay the bills.
right.
Uh, so I really think the American consumer, in a lot of aspects of our culture, we really need to get together and say we're going to hold back the dollars for a long time. Game of Thrones, I've never watched it, but I believe it's torture porn or something. Apparently,
Yeah,
that's my general impression from what I've heard. And this is smut. This is depraved. We feast on a diet of depravity, and it comes out of Hollywood. And it's really up to the people to make the right choices.
yes, and I couldn't agree with you more. Well, Matt, we're out of time for this episode of the Boat Rockers interview, and
I really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
yes, your input has been very, very in depth and very, very welcomed. And we'll hope to talk to you again here pretty soon on the Boat Rockers interview report. And uh, wrapping this episode up. I'd like to give a Bible verse out of the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 1, which says, "Dead flies cause the ointment of the apothecary to send forth a stinking savor. So doth a little folly him that is in reputation for wisdom and honor." In other words, just a little folly can really hurt your reputation for the rest of your life. And, I think that would relate to Mr. Weinstein right now in a big, big way. He's never going to be looked at the same way again. Uh, kind of like OJ. But yeah, we're out of time right now for Boat Rockers interview, uh, a Hollywood interview section here. And Matt, thank you for joining us. And
God
look,
be with you.
God be with you. And we look forward to it again.